What's up, SAT hackers? In this video, I'm going to solve 10 of the exact same questions that going to show up on the June SAT. So if you're taking the June SAT, watch this video until the end because you're going to some of these questions on your test. And who doesn't want 50 to 100 points increase in the last few days, right? My name is Mobin and I've helped almost 3,000 students get their target SAT scores and hundreds of them got 1,500 plus on their SATs. I got a perfect math score on myself and I've helped Vanya to get a 1,500 plus with a perfect math score on her SAT. So I can help you too. So watch this video until the end. I've put all these questions in a nice PDF that you can download and do them yourself and then watch the video explanation. So go ahead and download the PDF and I'll see you in a moment. All right, here is question number 1. In the given equation, C is a constant. If the equation has exactly one solution, what is the value of C? So we have it. This is one of the questions that shows up in the last second, in the second module of the math section. And here is what we do. First, we're gonna distribute this. We're gonna simplify this section of the expression. So it's going to look like 1 over Cx equals. We're gonna do a cross product here, which gives us Cx plus 128 over 128c. Now we can do a cross product here that's going to give us 128c equals c square x square plus 128cx, right? I did a cross product. This is what I got. Let's move everything to one side. It's going to look like c square x square plus 128cx minus 128c equals 0. The question says this thing has exactly one solution, and this is x squared, right? It's ax squared plus bx plus c. This is my b, this is my a, this is my c. And we know that if a quadratic equation has exactly one solution, then the discriminant should be equal to 0. So the b squared minus 4ac should be equal to 0, right? The b squared minus 4ac should be equal to 0. Let's do it, and I'm gonna do it, write this equation inside Desmos because we solved the equations with Desmos, right? So b squared is gonna be, b is right here, 128c, right? So 128c, this whole thing is squared, not just c squared. So I have to put it inside the parentheses. Square minus 4 times a, which is c square, inside the parentheses, times c, which is, in this case, is negative 128c. So times negative 128c. Now, it's not working. I have to add a slider, but I'm not going to add a slider because Desmos doesn't know what is c. That's why it's not working. So we have to, rather than c, put x's here, okay? X's. Now we see the equation, right? We see, let's zoom out. There we go. We see the line, we see the equations. So here, 128x squared, that is, let me check if, like, after we found the answer, it's negative 32, c is negative 32, and c is 0, but it can't be 0 because if we plug 0 here, the denominator is going to be 0. So be careful of that. And as you saw, like, it was like this, and you saw, oh, it's 0, and you put 0, but you have to know that it's not, can't be 0, so you zoom out, and you see the second equation. So always be careful of that. The second, like, solution is negative 32. I'm checking if negative 32 is correct, if I did any problems or not. It seems it's all correct. Yeah, negative 32 is the answer for this question. All right, question number 2. The mass of object A is 481% of the mass of object B. This is a percent question. Right away at the first sentence, I realized that. Now I have to translate it, write it algebraically, step by step. So from the first sentence, the mass of object A is 481% of the mass of object B. So I'm just going to write A equals, A is 481% of, means I'm going to divide that 481 by 100. So it's going to be 4.81 of the mass of object B. So 4.81b. So A equals 4.81b. That's my first equation. The second one is the mass of object A is 0.074% of the mass of object C. So let's translate that. A is divided by 100. It's going to be 0.00074 of the C, right? If the mass of object C is p% of mass of object B, this is what I'm looking for. C is p% of mass of object B. C is p% of the mass of object B. We have to write it this way, okay? So that means we have to isolate the C. What is the value of p over 1,000? Okay, let's first find p. So we're gonna find p. To be able to do that, we have to isolate the c and write it in terms of b, right? So first I can isolate the c here. So I'm gonna do c is equal to a divided by, divide both sides by 0.00074. All right, and a is 4.81b, so I can put that here, 4.81b. There we go. That's it. So c is basically equal to 4.81 divided by 0.00074. That gives us 6500b. So C, I'll write it here. C is equal to 6500B. Now convert this into percent. Well, we divided by 100 to make it back, to make it decimal. Now to make it back, we're going to multiply by 100. So P is equal to basically 0 to another 0, so 650,000. P is 650,000. So are we gonna plug this into the box? I don't think so, because we're looking for P over 1,000, right? So always read the question carefully after solving the question. Go back to the question and see what the question was asking for. This is very important. Most of the time you just get used to solving the question, you're so focused deeply finding the P. What is the P? You find it and you plug it there. Although here in this case you can't even plug this into the here because it's more than 5 characters, but let's say it was and you could plug it there. You don't have to do it. You always go back to the question, see is that what the question was asking for. Now we're looking for P over 1,000, so 3 zeros is gone. We get 650 as the answer. That's the final answer. All right, next question. The table summarizes the distribution of age and assigned group for 120 participants in a study. One of these participants will be selected at random. What is the probability of selecting a participant from group A given that the participant is at least 10 years age? This is very important, this term, given that the participant is at least 10 years of age. This is a very common term that they use, a keyword I would say for the probability questions, that if it's given that, then be careful and see like how we do it here. So 120 participants is the total number of the participants that we have, and we're selecting one of these participants randomly. What is the probability of selecting a participant from group A? So we want to be like here, but it says given that the participant is at least 10. That means we are already eliminating this column. Like we are selecting that, we are selecting all the participants that are already above 10, right? We're already selecting from here. This is our total number of the participants that we're gonna select from, right? So we already don't select that, given that they're already at least 10 years age. So we're selecting from here, and we want it to be from group A. So this is our favor. Like this is the possibility that we're looking for, the favorite that we're looking for, and this whole thing is the total. So I'll just color it here. Like this is what we're looking for, and this is the total that we're selecting. So what is the total? It is going to be, let's see. So we have basically 40 here and 40 here. 80 is going to be the total. So I'll put 80 here. And the favor is on top. So favor is going to be 18 plus 7. That's going to give us 25. So it's going to be 25 over 80. Okay. Now we can divide this by 5. Get 5 here. Divide this by 5. It gives us 16. So it's going to be choice B for this question. Hope it makes sense. Now here I want to show you one of our students, Michelle. Michelle took the SAT for the first time on April, and she got a 1470. She did that by just doing the predictions, and she told me that I don't know how to thank you enough. Literally 12 questions in my SAT exam today, I saw it in your predictions video. I was so surprised. The exam went well, and she's going to probably take the June one as well. So she got 12 of the exact same questions by just doing the prediction questions from the previous videos. So if you want to know which predictions you should do for the June SAT, you can book a free one-on-one tutoring with me. I'll probably put a link to the description. You can check it out. But now let's do question number 4. All right, the question 4 says the cost of renting a power washer is $92 for the first day and $46 for each additional day. Which of the following functions gives the cost C in dollars of renting the power washer for D days, where the D is a positive integer? All right, so this question is an easy question, but it's also a tricky question. Here it says it's the cost of renting a power washer is $92 for the first day, and then after that it's $46, right, for each additional day. So I have like the first day is $92. That's a constant for the first day, plus how many additional days we have, like X additional days, for let's say. So plus X, or here is the D, the number of the days, D times 46. This is what most of the students are doing, and that gives them the wrong choice. But what is actually going to be correct is going to be, we have to basically substitute this first day that we already said here is $92. We have to substitute this from this total number of the days. D is number of the days. And this, if we like do it this way, then you are also multiplying the 46 by the first day as well. But you already, the cost of first day is $92. So you have to subtract the first day from D. So the correct form is going to be 92 plus 46 times D minus 1. I subtracted the first day because I've already counted the first day's cost here. All right, now when we distribute this, we're gonna get 92, 46D minus 46, okay? And this minus 46 and 92 gives me 46. So the answer is going to be 46D plus 46. Choice A is going to be the correct answer for this question. All right, question number 5. A quadratic function models the height in feet of an object above the ground in terms of the time in seconds after the object was launched. According to the model, the object was launched from a height of 0. So it starts from 0 and reached its maximum height of 1600 feet 10 seconds after it was launched. Based on the model, what was the height of the object 15 seconds after it was launched? So this question is basically, this is a very common question, by the way, in the SAT that shows up. And here is how the parabola is going to look like. It starts from 0, so the y-intercept is 0. Sometimes it starts from an elevated surface, so that case you have to start, the y-intercept is that starting point, goes up to maximum point, comes down. Here's the maximum point, which is 1600, and it happens as 10 seconds. We're looking for what will be the height of this graph in 15 seconds. Okay, so we want to complete this function ax squared plus bx plus c. Well, c is the y-intercept, that is 0 in this case. We're looking for a and b, so I have two variables, I need two equations. So the first equation that we can make here is that we know this is the symmetrical line of this parabola, right? This is the symmetrical line, and that is negative b over 2a. Okay, so I know that this negative b over 2a is 10. So negative b over 2a is equal to 10. This is the first equation. The second equation we can write is, we know this vertex point, which is 10 1600, and we can put that into the function. So I'm going to put 10 into the x. It's going to be 10 squared. So it's going to be 100a plus 10 times b, 10b should be equal to 1600. Okay, now I have two equations, two variables, system of equations. We're going to plug it into Desmos, find the solutions. Okay, so but Desmos doesn't know what is a and b, so rather than a, I'm going to put x, b, I put y, and I name them. I write this on my paper that a is x, b is y. So when I find the solution, I know that the x coordinate of the solution is a, y coordinate is b. So negative y divided by 2x equals 10, first line. The second one is 100x plus 10y equals 1600. Look at intersection points. There we go. Negative 16 and 320. So this is x coordinate, this is a, and the y coordinate 320 is b. So the parabola, the graph, this equation is going to be ax squared. So a is negative 16, so negative 16x squared plus bx plus 320x plus c is 0. So this is how the parabola looks like. We don't need these, turn them off. This is how the parabola looks like. And I'm looking for when the second is 15, the height when the second is 15 seconds. So the second, which is the x-axis, I'm going to put it into x equals 15, and I'm going to see a line right here at the 15, okay, the green line. And I want to see like where does that line crosses this graph. We want to click on it. There we go. So 15, when the second is 15, the height is going to be 1200. So that is the answer for this question. The second way that you can do this is using regression, but this question has two types. The first type is where this object starts from 0 feet, like this. The second type is where the object starts from an elevated surface. This way you can solve both of the types, but the regression only solves this type. If the object starts from an elevated surface, you can't solve it using regression, because in that case you only know 2 points, the vertex and the starting point. But here we know 3 points, that's why we can use regression. The starting point, the vertex, and the ending point, which is here, we know that here is 0, so here is 20 because of the distance. So here you can use regression if it starts from 0, but if it starts from an elevated surface, you can't use regression. So this is the best way to solve it this way. Just one way of solving that solves all the above these questions. All right, guys, question number 6. You're on the half of the way. You're doing great. In the XY plane, a unit circle with center at the origin O contains point A with coordinates this and point B with these coordinates. If the measure of angle AOB is p radians, what is the value of cosine P over sine P? Looks very complicated, right? But you just have to know the unit circle, right? So here, let's say this is the unit circle, right? There we go. Okay, let me just make it better. So the point O, the center, the other point is 1 0, so it's right here, right? This is point A, and the point B with coordinates 5 over root 34, negative 3 over root 34. I don't know what is this, but this one is positive, this one is negative. So x coordinate is positive, y coordinate is negative. X coordinate is positive, y coordinate is negative. That means the point is somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here. Let's just put it here. Let's say this is B. Okay, and always, so we're looking for the measure of the angle AOB in P radians. Okay, this is the angle we are looking for. This is what we're looking for in radians. How much is this in radians? In unit circle, we know that here, like the x-axis shows us the cosine, the y-axis shows us the sine, right? And the point, this point B has coordinates of 5 over root 34 and negative 3 over root 34. So I know that the cosine of this point, which is shows the x-axis here, shows me here the x-coordinate of this, okay, x-coordinate of this is, which is 5 over root 34. That means the cosine of this angle is 5 over root 34. Actually this angle, but doesn't matter in this question, because in unit circles we go the counterclockwise. So also in the same way that the y-coordinate of this point, which is here, shows me the sine of this angle. Okay, interesting, right? So here, this is basically x coordinate is here, the y coordinate is here. This shows me the cosine because it's in the x-axis. This shows me the sine. So this is basically cosine of this angle P, okay? And this one is the sine of the angle P, right? So what I'm looking for is cosine of P over sine of P. Well, cosine of P is here, sine of P is here. So I'm looking for 5 over root 34 divided by negative 3 over root 34. Roots cancel out, so we get negative 5 over 3. That is the answer, negative 5 over 3. Okay, so easy. You just have to know this, that x coordinate of the point in a unit circle shows the cosine of that angle, the y coordinate of the point shows the sine of that angle. That's it. Well guys, if this video is helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel so I get motivated to keep making new videos for you, so I can come up with the August predictions as well. And also after this video, I'm planning to make a very hard questions video that shows up in the second module that no one knows how to solve them. So go and smash that subscribe button right now. Now after that you're subscribed, let's do question number 7. Rectangles ABCD and EFGH are similar. The length of each side of EFGH is 9 times the length of corresponding side of ABCD. A very common question. The area of ABCD is 36 square units. What is the area of EFGH, the second rectangle? Okay, so we have two rectangles, similar rectangles. It's testing us in similarities. And here, let's say this is, let me just write A, B, C, D. And this one is EFGH. We have 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. Now what are these dimensions? The question says the length of each side of the EFGH is 9 times the length of the corresponding side of ABCD. So whatever this ABCD is, the one side of the ABCD is, 9 times that is the side of EFGH. So the relation in one dimension, in one side, is 9 times. So whatever the side of ABCD is, 9 times that is going to give us the sides of the EFGH. Okay, and because it's the sides, it's 1 dimensional. If you go to the area, it becomes 2 dimensional, and if you go to the volume, it becomes 3 dimensional. So here, since the area, like this is the 1 dimension, it's 9, the relation is 9. When we go to the area, it's going to be square of that, so it's going to be times 81. If you go to the volume, it's going to be cube of this, which is going to be, what is 9 times 81? 81 times 9, 729. 729. This is what happens when you use decimals a lot. Your mental math just stops working. 729 is going to be the relation between the volume. So whatever the volume of ABCD is, the volume of EFGH is going to be 729 times that, right? So here we are given that the area of ABCD is 36 square units. The area of ABCD is 36. What is the area of EFGH? Well, 81 times that 36. So 36 times 81 is 2916, which is choice D. All right, that's how you do this question. Now if they want to make it complicated, they give you the relation between this the volumes and ask you for the area. Well, what you do, then you take cube root of this, you find the relation in 1 dimensional, then you square that, you go to the relation of the 2nd dimensional areas, and then you're given this, you find this one. Okay, that's a 1 level harder. Let's move on to the next question. The given equation relates the positive variables P, Q, R, and S, which of the following is equivalent to Q. So we want to isolate the Q basically here in this expression, in this equation. Let's isolate the Q. Q is here. Let's keep this here and move everything to the left side. It's going to be 46P plus 46R plus 46S. Also having like these are negatives also made me realize that I have to move them to the left, because it's like as if they were at left first, that we will move them to the right and they become negative, but the 46 over Q is already positive there. So now that we move them to the left side, I have 46 over Q here. Okay, now we can take a common denominator here to make one fraction. So if we want to take common denominator, like it's going to be p times r times s. Here I have p, so I have to multiply this by rs. I have to multiply this has an r, I have to multiply this by p and s. This has an s, I have to multiply this by p and r. So it's going to be 46 rs plus 46 ps plus 46 PR all over PRS equals 46 over Q. Okay, I did the common denominator PRS, I multiplied this by RS, I multiplied this by PS, and I multiplied this by RP or PR, and we got this. Okay, now I see 46, 46, 46, and 46. Well, I can factor this 46, right? So I can write everything like 46 times RS plus PS plus PR, and then this 46 can cancel this 46. So basically 46 cancel out. So this cancels out, this cancels out, this cancels out, and this cancels out. Okay, so this 146 cancels everything, because if we factor these, it just cancels those. So what we will have is going to be RS plus PS plus PR over PRS equals 1 over Q. We are looking for Q, we want to isolate the Q, so like this is 1 over Q, so we're just gonna reverse that. So we're gonna like change the place of denominator and numerator and do the same thing for here. If we do that, we will have Q here equals, change the places of the fraction, PRS comes up, and RS plus PS plus PR plus P plus PR goes down. So the answer choices PRS over PR plus PS plus RS is gonna be correct. Answer choice A is correct for this question. Question 9 is very common in the SAT. In triangle ABC and triangle DEF, sides AB and DE each have a side length of 8 inches. An angle A and D each have an angle measure of 65. Which of the following additional pieces of the information is sufficient to prove that these triangles are congruent? So we're looking for congruency. I have triangle ABC. Say this is A, this is B, this is C, and I have triangle DEF. DEF. The question says AB and DE are 8, AB is 8, DE is also 8, so equal sides, and also the measure of angle A and D is 65, so here is equal to here. Okay, so right now we have one side is equal and one angle is equal. Let's check this. The measure of angle B and C are equal. Measure of angle B and C. B and C, well, if these are equal, we don't know anything about this. If it was like B and E are equal, then yeah, like this and this is equal, but B and C both are in the same triangle, so this doesn't give us anything, so this is out. Okay, second one, the length of sides AC and DF are equal. Sides, the length of sides AC and DF is AC and DF, these are equal. So this one, this one, this one, this one, an angle between these are equal. So this is going to be side, angle, side rule. These are congruent. These two triangles are congruent. And the important thing here is that they are always testing you with the angle being between these two sides or not being the between the two sides. So here it's between the two sides. It should be between the two sides, otherwise it's not congruent. So this one is correct. Okay, 2 is correct. Let's check the next one. The length of sides BC and EF are equal. BC and EF are equal. This one is also equal. This angle is equal. So it's side, side, angle. But as you see, angle is not between these two sides. So this is not correct. Okay, so this is basically like, as I said, it's testing you the angle being between the two sides or not. So this is not correct. Always be careful of that. It's always testing you like that. That rule that angle is between or not. So it's only second one, choice B. 2 is sufficient, but 1 and 3 are not. That is the correct answer for this one. And there we go. Last question. The composition of an animal, it's a person question, is defined as the muscle, bones, and fat of the animal. A scientist studied the composition of one young swamp buffalo and determined the buffalo had this much of muscle. Okay, this many kilograms of muscle, which made up approximately this much percent of its composition. So 67.2% of the whole composition of the buffalo animal is 123.8 kilograms of muscle. So let's say this is the X is the whole composition. Okay, let's say X is the whole composition of the buffalo animal. 67.2% of this, so 0.672 I divided by 100 is equal to 123.8 kilograms of muscle. Okay, of the remaining composition of this buffalo, approximately this much was bone. So the remaining of this X, so how much is like this? X is the whole thing, right? This much was muscle, so X minus 123.8, this is the remaining. I just the whole composition minus the muscle is the remaining, and this from this remaining 47.4% was bone. So there is, we have to find 47.4% of this one. So this times 0.474. This gives us the bone. Okay, what are we looking for? Based on these approximation to the nearest tenth, how many kilograms of this buffalo was bone? Okay, so we're looking for bone. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna first find the x, the actual composition of the animal. How much is that? So x times 0.672 is equal to 123.8. I'm gonna divide both sides by 0.672. So x is going to be equal to 123.8 divided by 0.672. That gives us this much. This number is not a rounded number. It's very long, so I'm just gonna keep it this way, and then you can copy this in the blue book as well. So this is the actual composition of the animal. Okay, this number. Now this thing, the x minus 123.8, so the real composition, which is this, minus 123.8 is what the remaining, okay, 60.426. 47.4% of this whole thing, of this remaining, this whole thing is bone. That's what we look for. How do we find 47.4% of this? Well, we multiply by 0.474. So this is how much bone we have. Rounded to the nearest tenth, it's going to be 28.6. And that's it. All right, that's all about the June predictions. I hope you enjoyed it, and if it was helpful, share it with one of your friends, and if they see some of these questions in their test, they have to buy you a coffee. So good luck on your SATs. I'll see you in the next video.